Hey everyone, welcome back to Geektopia Island. Here today with the new Force of Will deck tech. We're doing the Lucifer deck, Lucifer's Nightfall. I'm your host, Kevin.
I'm Cardwell.
And today we're going to break this deck down and see what we put into it, all the intricacies. If you got to see the video, the deck brawl we had a couple days ago. So let's delve into it. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Start us off with Lucifer.
Yep.
That's the one of the black starters from the new set. He's got Divinity 10 like all the other ones. His Judgment is 5, so it's kind of rough.
Yeah, he's the highest one of the starter ones, right?
Yes. And he energizes for a black. So it's pretty simple, straightforward like all the others.
And yes, of course, he looks like Dracula from Castlevania. Like, the art is just superb.
He does indeed. So he flips into Lucifer, Fallen Angel of Sorrow. He's an 8/8 with Divinity 10 and flying. Cool.
Yeah.
Comes into play, your opponent discards 3 cards from their hand.
Simple as that.
Awesome. That's the reason it costs 5, because you're like, oh, it's turn 5. Like, whenever you use it, they almost always have 2 to 3 cards, so
yeah.
It's gonna get a whole lot of value. And if it doesn't get all the cards, you have one of your divinities, one of your divine decks to get the last card.
Yeah.
And that card is Tears of the Fallen. It's 0 mana for a Divinity 2 rune. Your opponent discards a card at random. This card is super strong in everything it can do.
It really does. Even at the beginning, you're like, immediately you go down one hand size.
Yeah,
done.
It immediately puts you in an advantage because they have 1 less card and you have 1 more.
Yeah.
And because it's free. I remember when this card was first shown, it was making waves everywhere. People were losing their mind over it. But then the rulings came out that you had to have the black rulers with black runes. So it helped out.
Yeah.
But this card is amazing for what it does. It's just, you start at 1 less card. And on his Judgment turn, you literally get rid of 4 cards if you need to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Simple as that.
Next up, we got Demon Division as another rune. It is 2 black for Divinity 2. Search your deck for a card, put it in your hand.
Just like that.
The amount of like value a tutor gives you is so strong.
Exactly.
And this one is 2 mana, and I don't have to show you what I get.
Yeah.
So you have no knowledge of what I'm getting, and I just get to have a free card.
And you can literally do it at any time you want. As soon as you have 2 mana, you're like, okay, I need this for next turn or this turn.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's so good because it sets up your future turns.
Yeah.
Next up is his Master Rune, Black Rosario. 2 black and Divinity 2 Master Rune.
Mm-hmm.
Can only be played with Lucifer. And your opponent banishes 2 Resonators.
Just like that.
It's
for 2.
so strong. 2 mana, kill 2 dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they get the choice, but if everything goes right, you're not going to let them have the choice because
Yeah.
you kill their other dudes.
Exactly.
And then whatever's left, you make them sacrifice.
Or you discard their hand enough where they only have 2 dudes on the field.
Yeah. Black Rosario is super good. The art is amazing.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's just fantastic. I can't... It's just a good card. If you're playing Lucifer, you definitely want it.
Oh, yeah.
Another card I do believe will be in every black rune deck is Jet Black Wings. 2 black and 1 for quick cast Divinity 3 rune. Resonators your opponent's control get -6/-6 until the end of turn.
Seems pretty hot.
This card is so good.
Yeah.
Because it makes combat math for your opponent so much more difficult. Because if they block with 3 3s or 4 4s, you're just like, cool, kill those dudes. These dudes get through. Or it makes their big dudes little, so your dudes get to kill them. Just everything about this card is amazing in value.
Yep.
Definitely worth running. The next one is Sword of Lament. It is 2 black and 1 for quick cast Divinity 3. And it's destroy target J ruler. You didn't really get to see this used a lot in the deck brawl, but it's there.
Yeah.
If you need to kill the J, you can kill the J. This deck does have a Divinity of 11 in the Rune Deck, so you're only going to get to play 4 at max. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because they're all strong in their own regard of what you need.
Exactly.
But that's it as far as Lucifer and the Divinity deck goes. So let's delve into what the deck can do.
All right. And of course, Lucifer, he discards cards, so let's, start out with that package as well. Well, to help you look at the hand is Fanatic of Grief. 1 darkness, 4/4. It's a human. Enters the battlefield. Your opponent reveals their hand. Just simple as that. That combos off with the card, the first spell of our deck that we'll show off to, but we'll get to there.
But the Fanatic's really good because they say knowledge is power. That's exactly what that card does. Because in like any kind of tournament play, you want to look at their hand and then write down what you see. Because you're allowed to do that as long as you have the actual knowledge of it.
Yeah.
If there's a reason for you to have that knowledge, you can know it. So then you just write down their hand so you know what they have. So then they're on top deck mode technically, even though they're not. You know what they're playing.
Yeah. So you know how to edge out the rest of your game too. And to help with that is Jeanne d'Arc, 2 darkness. We've been talking about this card a lot. It's just an all-star pretty much. If you're playing black, play it. 7/5. It gains swiftness and eternal now, as long as you have 3 or more resonators, J resonators, counting her. And then if this card would be dealt, if this would deal damage, it deals in -1/-1 counters instead.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's extremely good.
Just everything about her is amazing. Because if you have 3 dudes, indestructible, or eternal and swiftness, all day. Just rawr.
And it's not popular at the moment, but it does get rid of imperishable J rulers. Just because that's 7 counters on it, you know?
Yeah.
If they try to flip over and then they can't, it's like, oh, that's
so cute. Like those Scarlets that you fight against, and the Imals, all of those. If you hit it once with her, they're never like they'll flip just to get the inner trigger on Imal, and that's literally all they get because then she dies again.
And then sure, if she's strong enough if she has enough inverse cards, but then you just hit her again, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just Jeanne is so good with everything she does.
All right. Now with the next card, Ray the Black Owl, we also been liking this card ever since it was spoiled. It's a 1 darkness, 1, 5/7. It can't be attacked, so that's good. Because why? Because once you, at the beginning of your main phase, you get to invert this card. Now go ahead and tell us the flip version of this.
Alright, so the owl turns into Ray. And Ray turns into 0.
Yeah.
Put it that way. And 0 is an 8/9 with flying. Already pretty good. And then it says entities you control. If they're targeted by a spell or an ability, your opponent can, or just by a spell or an ability, counter the first one targeting. So either you or your opponent targets any of your cards, that first spell gets countered.
The little bubble just boom.
Essentially she gives a bubble to all of your things, whether it's your stones, whether it's your creatures, whether it's your additions, all of it gets a bubble. And if it gets targeted once, that bubble breaks.
Yep.
And then, so essentially it makes them waste 2 spells to kill 1 dude.
Which is really, really damn good.
Yeah, it's so strong. And right now with Time Spinning Witch running around and Mosasaur's doing everything, this thing kind of stops a Mosasaur if he gets to stay flipped.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, don't target my lands because you can't. Not easily.
Or just interplay abilities of creatures trying to blow something up, kill it, and you're like, nope. Sorry.
Yeah. Fantastic. Definitely worth running as a 2 or 3 drop of a deck.
Oh yeah.
Next up, we got Oborozuki. So she's one of the new cards. 2 black for a 6/6 Resonator. She's a vampire. When she enters, you may banish her Resonator. If you do, put a fresh blood counter on this card.
Okay.
As long as she has a fresh blood counter, she gets +2/+2 in flying. So, sweet.
Flying. Yep.
And then whenever she attacks, you can banish a Resonator. If you do, target Resonator gets -4/-4 until the end of turn. And then you can awaken her for 4 black. So essentially, you pay 6 black, you get a 6/6, and you can destroy all J rulers.
Yeah.
If y'all watch the deck brawl, y'all can see that happen. I had to do it. I still don't even think it saved me, but I had to do it. Because it just... Why not? If you're already in that late game, you may as well.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well just kill that big J ruler just sitting over there.
Yeah. We don't have a whole lot of Jake, just straight kill, so if you can, you may as well.
And this works perfectly with Fanatic, because turn 1 there, turn 2 her, and then you already have a flyer on turn 2.
Yeah, you just sack the Fanatic because it's already done its job.
Yeah, pretty much. The next one, of course, is Blazer, but a different Blazer, the 3-drop one. And it's a 7/7 for 3, or sorry, 7/8. And at the beginning of your main phase, draw a card. Just, it gives so much value.
Yeah, it's Black's way to draw cards and get there. You gotta do it.
And especially if you're making them discard everything and you're already out, outpacing them with that.
Yeah, you're already ahead in that battle, so you just gotta keep ahead. Next up, Azazel, the Fallen Angel of Gloom. She's 4 mana for a 9/10 flyer.
Super good already.
Great stats. You can pay 2 less as long as your opponent has 1 or less cards in their hand. So you're playing discard, so they're gonna have less cards.
Yep.
And then she enters the play. You choose one of 2 options. You can either look at the top 2 of your deck, put 1 in your hand, or 1 in the graveyard, or you can choose 2 of your opponent's Resonators and they banish 1. So they get to choose which one dies, but you get to choose the targets.
Yeah.
So you're like that big dude and that big dude. Go away.
Just
one of the
yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, one of those 2 threats is going away.
And I have a 9/10 to sit here.
Yeah.
For that.
She's so strong because it's just a 9/10 flyer for 4 and potentially has the ability to be 2 mana. I'll take it all day. And it has some sort of creature kill. Great.
Exactly, yeah.
Next up is another Fallen Angel, Shemhaza, the Fallen Angel of Sadism. So this dude is really, really fun. He's kind of weird in the way he works, but he's just good. So 4 mana for a 10/10 flyer. There's a theme here.
Yeah.
And he comes into play, your opponent discards a card. And if your opponent has 2 or less cards in hand, this card gets +4/+4.
Which is really good. Surprisingly, +4/+4.
Yeah. So if you watch the deck brawl, you watched me get wrecked by one of these dudes. Because that dude is just a big dude for 4 mana. 4 mana, 14/14 flyer. Not a lot can handle that.
That's kind of just crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much blocks almost everything that I can think of.
Yeah.
Besides dragons, like giant dragons.
And again, you're playing discard, so they're gonna the likelihood of them having 2 or less cards is pretty
hot.
pretty high.
And the fact that opponent discards a card when they enter. So yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. I like him. I think he's a good 2 or 3 of. You don't want to go too ham on him because he's not that strong.
Yeah.
But he's a good spacer. And the last creature of the deck is another Fallen Angel, and he's the Fallen Angel, Belial, Evil from the Scriptures. He's 6 mana for a 12/12 flyer. You can pay, or if your life is 1,000 or less, you pay 3 less to play this card.
So 3 darkness, pretty much.
Yeah, 3 darkness for 12/12 flyer. He comes into play, you destroy all non-Fallen Angel Resonators. Yours and your opponent's, so it kills the whole board. Minus angels, Fallen Angels. Whenever a J Resonator is put into a graveyard from the field, this card does 1 damage to your opponent.
So either side.
Yeah, yours or theirs. Anything that dies, they take 1 when it comes into play, or from then on. So, and it says a J too. So if their J dies, no, it doesn't say J. I'm sorry, apologize. It's when a Resonator dies.
Yeah,
deals 1 damage. But Belial is still amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty much any black deck from here on out should be running these dudes, just because it's a board reset.
Yeah.
It's just what it does. Just reset.
Wipes the board. Even if your dudes die, they take all the damage. And just pop. There you go. And then you're left with a 12/12 flyer.
Yeah. And you have other Fallen Angels in the deck, so they don't die to it. So you just have a whole bunch of flying power that they can't stop. It's great.
It's ridiculous. All right. Now with that ends with the creatures. We'll go get in with the spells that help with everything. First one, Glint of Insight. It's a chant for 1. Name a card. Your opponent reveals their hand. And discards all cards that share this name with that named card. And with that, we were talking about Fanatic of, was it Grief?
Mm-hmm.
You look at their hand, especially if you're going second, because you have the Energize token. Look at their hand, use the Energize to get multiple copies of 1 card.
And even if you don't have Fanatic, you can still play Glint. And it's just still good. If you know what they're playing, you just name a card.
Especially if they're playing green, you're like, Lorite, let's try that.
Yeah.
See if that... And it also has something more. Remove 2 mystery counters from your J-Roller. This card in your graveyard gains Remnant until end of turn, which means you can cast it again, correct?
Yeah. So you essentially just pay a black, name a card. If they have it, cool. You get rid of it. And then you flash it back by removing 2 mystery counters and you do it again.
Yeah. So,
because the second time you're going to know what's in their hand because it lets you see their hand on the first one. So even if you miss the first one, you'll get the second one.
Yep.
Awesome.
Now the next one, of course I've said before, has one of the sexiest pictures on here. Look of Corruption. 1 darkness. Look at your opponent's hand. Choose a card with a total of 4 or less. They discard that card. If this card was awakened, you choose a total of 5 or more. So 4 or less, 5 or more. And the awaken cost is only 2 more. So for 3 mana, you get 2 cards potentially.
Yeah. 1 big and 1 little. And the little is still kind of big. So 4 and under pretty much gets every worthwhile spell in the game of Force of Will. And 5 or greater just gets a big Resonator out of your way.
Yeah. Just in case you are playing against the mirror and then probably have a Belial in the hand or whatever.
Yeah, and you don't want to deal with it. You're just like, get out of here. Thanks.
All right, the next card, Raise Gill. Tell us why we have this here.
All right, so Raise Gill is one of those cards it's very overlooked right now. It's 1 black crit cast. Target Resonator gets -5/-5 until the end of turn.
Or -0/-5, sorry.
-0/-5.
Yeah.
It's mostly there just to kill a dude. Kill a Resonator. Kills the little mana dorks early. It helps you kill a dude if you need to just swing into it or however you need to deal with it. But it's mostly there for the early game because right now everyone's playing white and they're playing mana dorks. You just kill that mana dork
immediately.
Off. Kill that Lorite, kill that elemental, whatever. Just get that stuff off my board.
Yeah, pretty much. The next one, Life Severing Blade. Extremely good card.
Fantastic.
It's amazing. It costs 3 quick casts, but you'll probably never pay 3 for it. If a Resonator you control is put in the graveyard from this turn, or filled from this turn, you may pay 2 less to play this card. So it's 1 darkness. Destroy target Resonator. Just for 1.
This makes blocking amazing.
Yeah.
So, like, again, your Fanatic of Grief, you throw him in front of a big dude or in front of a little dude, who cares? Because they try to swing and save their big dude for later. You're just like, cool, kill your big dude.
Yeah, just for 1.
And that's all it is. 1 mana, kill a big dude if one of your dudes has died this turn. Fantastic. Last up, his spells is Vitality Drain.
One of Kevin's favorites.
It's one of my favorites. It didn't really see a lot of play. Now that the format shifted to more single color decks, it'll see more play. And
it's a lot slower too, like the format in general.
Yeah. So Vitality Drain is 5 mana quick cast. And target player loses 10, or you gain 10, and you deal 10 to a Resonator if you remove a mystery counter from your J/rule. Card is fantastic. 5 mana, and remove a mystery counter. You take 10, I gain 10, and that takes 10. Yeah. What more can you ask for? Like, it's so good for 5 mana.
And the fact that it's quick cast too, so you can keep them guessing, and then you're just like, wow!
Yeah, at the end of turn, you're just like, I kill that thing. You take 10 and I gain 10.
Yeah.
It's just such a big life swing that it's worth playing. Because it's literally a net of 20.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way. Because they lose 10, you gain 10, so you're netting 20 total.
It's crazy.
The stones, they're really simple. We got 4 of the Mystery Stone, which is Stone from the Dark Castle. So it comes into play, it adds a Mystery Stone and Mystery counter to your ruler.
Helps with the spells,
you can play the Awakenings. We got 4 Magic Stone of Corruption. And it just adds a black, or you can pay 2 black and banish it. Your opponent discards a card from their hand. You only can do this as during your turn, but it's worth it. Because if they have 1 card left, you're just like, cool, get rid of it. And they don't have a threat anymore. Because any card you don't have knowledge of, you consider it a threat. So you're just like, cool, get rid of it. Thanks. And then the final card we have is Magic Stone of the Undead. And it adds a black, put the top card of your deck into your graveyard. So if you really need to, you can just do it to help fuel your graveyard, to get that Glint in there easier so you can flash it back or whatever. There's some use for it. There's not a whole lot of use for it, but it's better than just having a Blackstone. Exactly. Because it actually has an ability.
It does something.
Yeah. I don't have a sideboard for this deck currently, but there's a lot of fun cards you could add to it. We don't have anything like a meta. Our meta here isn't really like figured out yet, so I don't know what to put in it just yet. Yeah. So currently I don't have a sideboard, but that's a good glimpse of what Lucifer can do, what he's built for. It is all about discarding. He plays big angels, big fallen angels when they're low life and health or low cards in hand. Dude gets way better. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. The deck list will be down below if you want to check it out. And we will see y'all again next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Alright guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And also hit the bell that gets you notifications on all of our content. Also, if you need the latest deck tech, it's going to be to the right. And if you need the latest gameplay videos, it's going to be down below.